Ian Cowell, Franklin Templeton. I'm intrigued by the idea of using AI to write the reports, then using AI to check the reports. Aren't we going to create a bit of a sort of circular vortex of actually no one's actually doing the work?
Well, there's an idea.
That speaks to
That's
Hans'
called
concern.
retirement, isn't it? So I see what you mean if you're gluing together what Johnny said and what I said. Just to be very practical about it, in our world, AI is writing the report and a paraplanner is checking it. So we used to have a paraplanner writing it and a paraplanner peer reviewing. Now we have an AI writing it and a paraplanner peer reviewing. And I think that's important still. Now, we are still teaching our AI report writer. She still sometimes repeats herself. So, we all repeat ourselves occasionally, right? So we let her off. But, yeah, we're not removing the human. I think we are some way off removing the human from the situation. We haven't actually gone to the risk side of it yet. But even if we did that, we'd still have a human peer reviewing in the middle.
Yeah, I'd second that. Human in the loop with all of this stuff. We're way off letting AI do this on its own. And yeah, again, the thing to think about AI is it's a tool. It's AI assisted as opposed to AI doing it. That's what you need to. AI isn't taking over. It's just another tool that, like you say, it takes away the mundane and allows people to do more fun stuff.
Let humans do what humans do best, right? Back to the title of your talk. Right. Ian has it. He's got a better arm than me, I suspect. So don't be afraid. If we can throw it this way. Well done.
Hello. I wanted to talk about, you're saying that you're going to use AI with financial planning and helping out people to automate tasks. Does that give AI a more important role than humans? And does it, is there more importance for AI? So how's the balance between AI and human usage for the tasks that you complete?
The AI is doing the boring stuff. So for me, the answer is very clear that what the humans are doing is more important. So there's a couple of things. There's empathy, there's the human engagement and the human empathy, which I actually think quite a lot of speakers have talked about this today as being the core of what a financial advisor, planner does. And then, as I said earlier, taking action. You actually are inspiring somebody to take action. You're educating them into a place where they realize they need to take action, then you're helping them to navigate the route through to take the right action, and then you're looking after them for years to come. So, yeah, the AI is just a really clever bit of tech that enables you to do that and spend less time typing.
I think that's right, but I think it also changes the skills that we need as well, doesn't it? We use kind of AI to generate marketing content. So we sent the team off as an experiment to write content on beekeeping, the arguments for and against 20-mile-an-hour zones, and the arguments for and against VAR in football. And it was a fascinating kind of exercise when you take people who are experts in pensions and put them in a situation where they're not experts, and can they use AI to generate content? And what we found was some of our most creative thinkers in terms of writing marketing content were least effective in terms of working with AI tools, because it's a different skill set. You need to engage with the tools, because the first time you ask it, it doesn't give you the right answer. Then you ask it again, and progressively you get the right answer. So I think, totally echo what the guys are saying here. AI will revolutionize 1,000 processes, 1,000 ways of working in our business, but it will demand different skills of the humans that we employ to get the best out of the AI, to get the right outcomes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Great. Around for questions, so right next door.
So I had a question about Milo. As you said, it's an AI co-pilot that is backed up by a human to answer the questions. And since it can make simple financial decisions, won't the usability of it be quite limited, and more responsibility will fall upon the human that's actually backing it up?
I don't know, we'll find out when we go live. That's the honest answer. I think that's the fun. We're setting it up not actually having all the answers. Mm-hmm. And we're setting up knowing that as a workplace pension provider, we have millions of customers, from those who know everything they're doing, just get out the way and help us do it, to those who are genuinely stuck and don't know where to start. So the reality is it'll be yes and no to all of the above. So what we're kind of focused on is part of the proposition we need to build, but actually it's more about the data, the technology and the architecture that sits behind it, because if we get that right, then that allows us to go on the journey and then progressively build the different experiences, different journeys, different interventions, the different segments of customers need to help them get to the right place.
It's so important, and I think people often think you can only launch when it's perfect, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to. And John Cleburne was here earlier from Vanguard, and he ran the personal advice service in the US. I didn't ask him when he was in the room about this, but there was a piece in the FT a few weeks ago talking about the journey that personal advice service has to go through, because it's actually not perfect. It doesn't really have a decumulation solution. It's got all these people it was helping through accumulation, and now it's at a point that they need to figure out what's the solution for people looking to draw down that wealth. They were talking about quite long hold times for people, that the technology is not perfect. And we sort of look at that model as, wow, they've really cracked it. But they haven't got it perfect, but they're doing something and they're learning, and they've built a fantastic business. I've got a question for the panel. So with all this time that people are going to have, how are they going to spend it? Because when we asked people, we asked advisors if they had, better technology. It wasn't necessarily AI, but how would they use that time? And the number one thing was things that are good for my physical and mental health. So it's not necessarily going to help us reach across to that, whether we're at 8% or 14%, but, how are they going to spend more time? What do you think?
It's a good question. If, I asked our CEO, he'll say, well, they have to do, they're not doing any of that first one. It's got to be engaging the clients. The reality is, I think if you allow them, advisors, if they're well incentivized, they'll go out and write more business. They're generally that way inclined. So if they do spend a bit of the time saved using AI to do those things, so they're in a better headspace, they're going to write more business. If you put the incentives in, it'll work.
Yeah, Helen?
So we want to be able to serve more clients. So by reducing minimum fees, because we'll be able to advise at a lower cost. And also, we're acquisitive too. I was fascinated listening to the Kingswood speaker earlier, and we're buying businesses, and some of the guys are looking after a wild number of clients. So this is going to enable us to be able to do that, and to do that in a way that meets with our appetite for risk, if I could put it like that, and record keeping needs and such. So we want to grow. We are growing very fast, and this is just a way for us to grow. Frankly, without our cost base growing at the same rate as our revenue, which,
It's such a good reminder, isn't it? Because it's not necessarily an either or. It's we need more capacity to be able to support the customers we already have.
Yeah,
right?
which, by the way, is why our paraplanning team unfolded their arms.
Yeah.
Because don't worry about it, we can't recruit fast enough. So, you're in a place. I think if you're I would always argue businesses aren't stable. They're either growing or shrinking, right? So if you're in a growing business, there is nothing to be fearful of here. It just gives you headroom to go and look after more clients.
Yeah.
We had a soft limit of pre-AI of about 100 clients per advisor. We've increased that because this does allow them to serve more clients and compliantly. So as long as the standard's there, obviously.
So sorry, you had a pre-AI of 300 clients per advisor.
100.
100 clients per advisor. And where are you now?
150.
150. Okay, that's a massive increase. We can all do the math on that one. There's a question just in the row behind you, if you wouldn't mind passing it back. And I'm scanning.
Thank you. Peter Schutz, Vice from the Valencia Partners. One, just quickly, it's great to see Milo's 2 weeks away from launch. We know Nathan Thompson well in Scotland. He's very, very excited indeed. Just a question, I suppose. A lot of the discussion here is that the applicability of AI, understandably, is around efficiency. And that's freeing up those folk who know what to do best from a sales perspective, from a client engagement perspective, to do it to more people, to your point. Is AI being applied a tool to drive new sales directly from a cross-sell perspective, from a customer understanding perspective? I know Milo looks at eventing throughout the customer journey, but are there any examples there where that's starting to real drive the outcomes directly rather than support indirectly to free up more time?
Well, I glance at my panel to figure out who would like to take this one, just a plug for AI Lab, because we had somebody do a case study on exactly that at our last event, using it to do remarketing to dormant leads, and have had learned a lot about how customers preferred to communicate through that exercise. Was really, really powerful. Looking to the panel. Yeah,
I'm happy to start. I think we have hypotheses rather than proven outcomes at the moment. But I'm certainly in the belief that AI will drive growth. I think it will help us better personalise communication, engagement, both in what we say and when we say it. enable us to operate at a level of personalisation that's beyond our kind of wildest dreams at the moment in terms of what this industry is capable of. I think, again, if we get the architecture right, I think it's also, I'm particularly interested in things like future visualization is something that's on our mind a lot of, one of the things that advisors do that, is absolutely critical to underpin goal-based investing is help clients visualize what they're trying to do in the future. And not everybody has the ability to pay for wealth management advice, so how do we help those ordinary people better visualize themselves in the future and therefore understand the trade-offs between today and tomorrow to enable them to make better financial decisions in the present? So we've got plenty of use cases that we're kind of planning to test in the coming months. And if Heather invites me back next year, then I'll give you an update on how we get on.
Love that. I love that. But don't try those apps where you take a picture of yourself and see yourself in 40 years. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, I met with an AI kind of scientist. He actually knew the gubbins of it the other day. He got me quite excited about the next sort of stage. So alongside what I think a number of businesses are able to do in terms of putting your arms around all your information and data. So we're a Microsoft shop now, everything's in SharePoint, means that we can really start to leverage, whether it's a document or it's a bit of data, we can start to use it. And they've got a bit of kit that sits on top of that. They can write personalised suitability letters back to clients in the tone of voice that the client has used, which is obviously a wild step forward, isn't it? Where we are now, for example, clearly they can look at gaps in your proposition. So they look across what your clients are asking for, what they're speaking, what's being spoken about. Remember, we've now got transcripts, right? Because we've got the note taker. So where are the gaps in your proposition that would enable you to say, well, hang on a minute, there's a real demand for this over here, rather than the sampling that we do now and the feedback from partners. So there's absolutely shed loads of that. Avatar suitability letters are here already. We haven't implemented them yet, but if you can imagine, not all clients are going to like this, but watching a kind of short avatar video of the one I saw was a couple talking. So it was about somebody wanting to retire to the south of France, and it was kind of like, oh, why wouldn't you, cheese and red wine? It had a kind of a jauntiness to it, as well as laying out the facts of the matter alongside the report, not instead of. So there's shed loads to come, and it's coming so thick and fast. I think sometimes it's just about prioritising what to do next.
If we just pass the microphone back a couple of rows there. Oh, nice one. Well done, Chris.
Hi, Matt came from Unbiased. So if we have 20% of our time spent with new clients, how does the panel think they're going to acquire them? Slightly loaded question, given who I work for. But the old way of client acquisition, we've seen it across the piece about growth, doesn't work. People want to be engaged digitally. How are the panel looking to do that?
Great. Last 30 seconds from each of you. And I'm going to put the panel slide up. Andy, I'm going to start with you.
I'd be in the workplace.
Yeah. Johnny?
Yeah, I think we won't do anything different on that front. It just gives, we've got more leads than we have advisor capacity. So.
Yeah, I mean, probably the same. In the workplace, for sure. We see that as a big growth area, and being able to lower minimum fees obviously helps wildly with that. And we have launched a digital product into that space, as I said. And we can see the gap. I mean, that the clients are there, aren't they, waiting for our services? So, yeah.
Yeah, Ram said nobody's being turned away. I'm not sure that's the same in the UK, is it? It's a different market. We're doing a piece of work for Aegon at the moment, which will have some case studies on how advice firms are growing organically. So you can let us know if you'd like to get a copy of that. Huge round of applause for my panel. Thank you.